would it be a wise, from the subcontractor's perspective, would it be a wise move to clarify that at tender stage and limit liquidated damages to being the sole remedy for loss?
Yeah, look, all these clauses are negotiable. They are negotiable. And you'd be surprised how easy it is to negotiate your way out of them. So I've tested this theory many times. I've said to my clients who've turned around, clients have seen me early enough to take this advice before they've actually committed themselves to these clauses. They've given me every excuse under the sun. I'm too young, I'm too inexperienced, I'm too small, I'm too female, I'm too, old, I'm too whatever. And I've said, go test the theory, never speak to me again if I'm steering you wrong. But take some advice, don't go overboard. If you can manage a risk, do that. Only identify those particular clauses that are not manageable because they're silly like these, and we haven't got to the real pointy end of them yet.
Because I mean, if you don't deal with that particular clause, it becomes uncapped.
Once it's in there, yeah, this is uncapped. This is uncapped. And certainly those obligations that I talked about earlier of having to prove actual losses and causation and breach, etc., on the evidence are reintroduced if you want to rely on that. But the point is that the principal under this regime has the option. They can just say, no, I want my debt, which is a fixed rate of liquidated damages per day of delay. I don't have to prove causation and actual loss, etc. It's all been predetermined. Or I've got the option of going on the evidence, asserting actual losses that exceed that rate per day and recovering that greater sum. And there are other clauses that I haven't reproduced because time doesn't permit, but there are other clauses that shift the risk of being out of pocket pending determination of those claims back onto the subcontractor. So the principal will typically make a call on the security. So there'll be a performance bond or a bank guarantee, some kind of security that allows them to access cash or cash equivalents. Usually there's no equivalence about it, it's just plain cash. And they'll be able to recover that cash on demand, and they'll be able to hold that cash as security for what they believe in their sole and absolute discretion, it usually says in the contract, is their entitlement to be paid on such claims. And they'll hold on to that until some decision maker, an adjudicator, an arbitrator, a judge, somebody who's in a position to make a binding determination says otherwise. So you'll be out of pocket, even if ultimately there was no basis for the assertion of that additional entitlement. In the meantime, you're out of pocket. So that's what these clauses do. But yeah, you're right. One way that I've found is actually often quite easy and successful is to try and negotiate your way out of this stuff before you actually sign the contract. And you'd be surprised how easy it is for people who push back and articulate precisely what they consider to be a deal breaker and exactly why and what they want in substitution for it, get me to draft it and say why. Usually if they're skilled contractors whose services are in demand, there are substantial concessions and they get what they want.